Just bragging about how I got it passed for first try, but then I can't get to the right spot.
Okay, I've taken the speaker off the mute, so whenever you guys are ready.
By June 9th. Oh, computers. We're getting there, I think. Hopefully.
Just means.
Yeah. Excuse me. You guys ready? Okay, we'll call this meeting of North Lake School Board. And please rise. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please. Here.
Mark Herring.
Here.
Dan Jansen.
Here.
Preston Fyfco.
Here.
Mike Rock.
Here,
Okay. And approval of the agenda.
The agenda that you have is a different one than you were originally sent. We have removed 2 of the executive sessions, so there's only 1 remaining. And that from June 10th to June 9th, so that was corrected.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any other questions? All those in favor? Motion carries. Go on to approval of the minutes. Both the May 12th and the budget meeting.
I didn't see anything I need to change in wheels.
Okay.
Move that we approve the May 12th and budget meeting minutes.
We'll second it. Okay, been moved and seconded to approve the May 12th regular meeting and the April 21st budget meeting minutes. Any other questions? All those in favor? Motion carries. All right, let's see, we'll move on to, since we're dealing with budget meetings, a budget hearing. Starting off by opening the budget hearing at 6:03. And in that process, I guess this first step is, do we have anybody that wants to, in the audience, to comment on the budget that has been posted, I believe? And Monica, are you going to review the budget for us, or?
Yeah, so nothing has changed. Same numbers there.
Okay.
Things are moving through. Everything that I've seen so far with grants that have come through there, they've some the same as last year. And it looks like it hasn't passed everything yet. Like they're moving forward with the budget that they proposed for the state's. It'll be 11.365. So again, it hasn't passed. And so the budget that we put together, I think will be pretty spot on. We'll probably get some more revenue, but we don't know yet. When those federal forest funds for those 3 years that they weren't supposed to take. States hold. We don't know yet, though. We'll know sometime in October. So we might still have to have a supplementary budget meeting in September, or we might not.
Thank you. Yeah, so the classic, you gotta have this done and know what you're doing, but we don't know what you're doing. So, yep. Okay, thank you, Monica. Let's see. So the next step is to,
So choose to have resolution 2526-01. There's basically four things on that page that you have. Resolve. There's another resolution for gas. For the rolling of any funds. And the money that's been needed.
okay. So,
So you want a motion to
yeah, we
adopt the
know,
resolution?
right. Excuse me. Yes, we do.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution number 2526-01 as presented. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 252601 as presented. Just by adopting the resolution as a question, does that automatically impose a tax, or do we need to list that?
Last year, if you recall, last year you guys did like all four of these in one motion,
Okay,
and somebody read all that, be it resolved, be it resolved. I would read it out loud, and then you guys are adopting this.
Yeah,
do I have a,
my motion is as follows. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the North Lake School District number 14 hereby adopts the budget for fiscal year 2025-26 in the total amount of $12,306,619. This budget is now on file at 57566 Fort Rock Road in Silver Lake, Oregon. Be it resolved that the amounts shown below are hereby appropriated for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 for the following purposes, which I'm not going to read. Be it resolved that following ad valorem property taxes are hereby imposed on the assessed value of the taxable property within his district for tax year 2025, 3.855 per 1,000. And be it resolved that taxes imposed are hereby categorized for purposes of Article 6, Section 11B as 3.855 again per 1,000.
And then 347.
Oh, yeah, and 347,000 for the general obligation bond debt service. We'll make sure that one
Yes.
works this year.
okay,
That's
Does-
sufficient.
does the second still stand? Do we have a second?
Thanks.
Nicely done. I'm gonna suggest one slight amendment on the statement was Article 11, not Article 6.
Okay. Fives and tens always good.
All right, perfect.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, was there any further questions on the 252601 resolution for the budget? All those in favor? Motion carries. Not yet, because we've got Gatsby.
Okay.
So,
These are the funds that roll forward, like this summer school program will roll forward to the summer. The Chromebook fund, the school lunch fund, bus replacement fund. So those things won't zero out, they'll roll forward. So you're giving us the authority to spend that as it was meant to be spent, and it shows each of those things.
So we need a motion for GASB 54.
This one prove as presented. Let's see, we had to narrow this down. I move that North Lake School District 14 Board of Directors hereby resolve to approve the GASB 54 as presented.
I think that's acceptable.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the GASB, GASB 54 as presented. 25-26 school year. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. So at this time, 6:11, we'll close the budget meeting. And we'll move on to a review of the bills.
I just had a question on that, the very bottom one with the heating, air conditioning. Or,
That's the,
Professional.
that's the 34,000,
yeah,
that's the desk factor.
Okay. Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Stands.
All good?
Good.
Okay. Moving on to hearing of individuals in the audience. Janet, do we have anybody sign up tonight? Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can we thank the budget committee and recognize the members of that budget committee because it saved us a ton of
Absolutely.
work. Janet, can you read off who that is?
Members of the budget committee are the 5 school board members here. And then we have Roger Wignoya, Stacy Puckett, Josie Tobias, Mike House. And Sam did. No, yeah, Sam.
Yep. No, that's appreciated.
Yes, thank you. Okay. We'll move on to new business, which is one item at the moment with the probationary employee dismissal hearing. We're going to run that as a hearing, of course. Excuse me. So another meeting within the meeting. I guess we'll call the dismissal hearing in order at 6:13. I will open the public hearing of the North Lake School Board. This is a public hearing regarding the superintendent's recommendation for the dismissal of Marlene Jansen, a probationary teacher in our district. This hearing has been scheduled at the request of the teacher who has exercised their right to a public proceeding under Oregon Revised Statute 342.835. We'll start with roll call. Please let the record show the roll call of board members present.
We need to do a roll call or just, we're all here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to do a second one, we're all.
Okay. See. Number 3, is that any interest or?
Yes, sir. I am going to recuse myself. abstain from any decision making.
Let the record reflect that Dan Jansen has recused himself from the hearing and will not participate in this matter. A quick explanation before we begin. I will outline the process we will follow during this hearing to ensure a fair and orderly proceeding. This hearing will include a presentation by the superintendent explaining the basis for the recommendation, a presentation by the teacher or the teacher's representative, an opportunity by both sides for a brief response if needed, an opportunity for board members to ask questions of either party, deliberation by the board, and final action taken in public session. While this is a public hearing, all participants are expected to maintain professionalism and respect the privacy of students and other employees. Any comments or evidence referencing specific students or confidential matters should be handled with care and in compliance with applicable state and federal privacy laws. We will now hear from the superintendent.
So, pursuant to ORS 342-8351, school district may dismiss a probationary teacher at any time during the probationary period for any cause the district board deems in good faith sufficient. This recommendation is made in accordance with that statute and with the advice of legal counsel following appropriate due process. Just a little background, following the passing of Chad Waldron, the Agriculture Advisory Committee unanimously supported restoring a full-time certified position to continue the two-person ag education model. The school board was informed and supported this goal from the outset. The district posted a full-time ag teaching position for the 24-25 school year. Multiple announcements and outreach efforts were made throughout the year in order to secure a qualified candidate. Mrs. Jansen expressed interest in the program and took on a temporary 0.5 FTE role to continue the ag education curriculum, particularly for the elementary students. But she made it clear that she was not seeking full-time employment and did not apply for the posted position. Mrs. Jansen explicitly stated that at the time she was willing to step aside upon the hiring of a full-time teacher, even if it was mid-year, which formed the basis of our agreement. Due to the timing and the ongoing search for qualified applicants, an intent to renew notice, for a 0.5 FTE was issued and signed by Ms. Jansen by the deadline of March 15th. This notice was contingent upon programmatic needs and hiring outcomes. 2 applicants were then interviewed on April 15th, which was after the March 15th notice of intent to rehire. A full-time hire was approved by the board on May 12th in 2025. And that person will then replace the ag in the classroom position, which Marlene currently serves in. So I met with Ms. Jansen and reiterated our prior agreement. The temporary position would conclude upon the successful hiring of a full-time teacher, and she acknowledged that decision. Then on May 28th, Mrs. Jansen submitted a written request for a formal hearing, citing concerns that the verbal notice did not meet the requirements of the Oregon Fair Dismissal Law. So I provided her a formal letter outlining her rights and options, and she elected to present her comments in open session, which is what we're doing today. I recommend that the school board uphold my decision to dismiss Ms. Jansen from her probationary employment effective immediately, because as we discussed at the time of her hiring, it was the district's intent to hire a full-time teacher for the position. Ms. Jansen was notified, provided with an opportunity to apply for the full-time position, but she did not for understandable reasons. And the district hired someone to fill this position full-time for the 25-26 school year. The part-time position is no longer needed. The temporary 0.5 FTE position was created solely just to maintain the continuity of until a fully qualified teacher was secured. That goal has been met. And Mrs. Jansen was fully aware of the district's intent to hire a full-time teacher, had multiple opportunities to apply, and she declined. She voluntarily agreed to step aside when the person was found. The district has acted in good faith, maintained transparency, and followed legal guidance. So I just ask that you approve the recommendation to dismiss Ms. Jansen on the basis of firing of a full-time person, and a half-time person position in our district is no longer needed.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll hear from Marlene Jansen or her representative. Excuse me.
You're not really set up for,
Guests.
Primarily, I would like to address 3 areas of concern. The first is communication. After a conversation with Superintendent Bierman prior to the renewal notices being sent out, I knew my position's up in the air. I'm not challenging that. I was very confused when I received the intent to renew. There were no conditions or contingencies in my intent to renew, nor no communication pertaining it to being contingent upon the hiring of a new teacher. You will find a copy as page 1 of your packet. At this point, I considered my position confirmed. I signed and returned the notice, signed by the board chair, Superintendent Bierman, and myself. I don't know about you all, but when I sign my name to something, it means something. At no point was I told the intent form was conditional. I was never informed by Superintendent Bierman that candidates were being interviewed or that one had been selected to replace me. The time period between mid-March and the end of April is prime hiring. If I had known my status, I could have pursued other employment. Was there a position available for me? I don't know. I was committed to the workload. Superintendent Bierman's lack of communication throughout this process impeded my ability to seek alternate employment. My second concern, performance. I can say with a very high degree of certainty that my termination is not based on performance, as I was never evaluated. As outlined in board policy GCN GDN evaluation of staff, page 2 of your packet, probationary teachers are to be evaluated annually with multiple observations. This did not happen, and I can fairly confidently say it's not just me. My third concern is the protocol. On April 28th, 42 days ago, Superintendent Bierman told me to consider my intent to renew null and void. This statement causes a conundrum. If my renewal notice is null and void, then the district is out of compliance with ORS 342-513. This negates the board chair, her, and my signature on the official form, in which case I should have received a notice of non-renewal by March 15th. If the renewal is considered valid, then the verbal dismissal by Superintendent Bierman on 4/28/25 is out of compliance with board policy GCPDAR, discipline and dismissal of staff, and ORS 342-835. Both policies state that written notice must be given with the reasons for dismissal. I was terminated verbally and received no written communication from Superintendent Bierman until the 6/3/25 response to my request for a hearing. In your May 12th meeting, the board chair and superintendent both noted my non-renewal. Regardless of the circumstances, at no point in school board policy nor state statute does a verbal termination meet the requirements set forth for the dismissal of a probationary teacher. Superintendent Bierman's termination of my employment violates the board's and state's fair dismissal practices. Thank you.
Thank you. Time for a response. If Ms. Bierman, Ms. Jansen, either of you want to respond to, excuse me, the other initial statement.
No, I don't think that I do. I have dates of letters too, and I just don't believe that, I understand what Marlene's saying in terms of our conversations, but we had many conversations back and forth about working or not working, full-time, part-time, yes, no, let me see how it goes in the spring, because she has other obligations at home. So we'd had several conversations about her and this position. So to me, it wasn't out of the ordinary based on how we've done business up to that point to just say, yes, now we don't need your services anymore. We did not know when we gave her the March 15th renewal, we didn't have anybody in the pipeline then. We didn't have any applicants until after that, which is why she was given the renewal notice. When we got one, then I told her, yes, we found someone, we hired someone, so your services won't be needed. Could I have given her an official letter at that time? Yes, I could have, but I talked to her about it, which is what we had done prior to that. So should I have? Perhaps, but in talking with legal counsel, that doesn't seem to be a big thing to them necessarily. Maybe that's not a professional way to put it, but it's when she asked for it, could she have written notification? I provided her written notification and an opportunity to present this to you in this meeting, and that's what we're doing. And as far as I'm told by them, then we're in compliance with what her rights and are offering and affording her rights at this point in time.
Would you like to add anything?
I don't think so. I think it goes back to the signatures on renewal notice for me. Once I put my name on something, I'm committed. And I signed that, I provided written documentation. I expect that to be returned. Yes, we've had verbal conversations but nothing was formal, nothing was signed. I received a contract after an interview. I can't find anywhere where it says that a verbal termination is acceptable. You guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, this is the time for questions for either party, guys.
What's, I guess because, further down this, we have to vote on what's the outcome of this hearing. What's your desire? Is your desire to maintain your position, or is your desire just to call out a lack of compliance for statutes?
A little bit of both, but I mean, I had started making plans with teachers for next year. There was things that had already started taking place at that point in time. So, yeah, I mean, would I like to come back? Yes, I had a blast with your kids this year. I mean, not your kids, all of our kids this year. This is a fun position, and it's a hard position. It's 7 preps in a half a day. And that's a pretty tough ask of a first year teacher for next year too, so. Be that what it may.
Do we have any, you said you had letters and things. Do we have any documentation that I'm maybe missing here of, maybe it's in the packet? Written letters provided to Ms. Jansen.
Yep, it's the last page of the packet that I gave you.
Okay, and I have some right.
And it was in the fourth package.
Yeah, I think Janet sent it too.
A lot of it's timeliness. It's been a drawn out process that it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, that one was June 3rd. You signed your contract on.
Sorry, I tore
It's
this
not
off.
a contract.
It's not a contract.
It's a notice of renewal.
Looks a lot like a contract. It's,
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say, what's,
teachers are, they're issued their contracts kind of here right at the end of the year, what's Monica gets the system rolled over and then we issue contracts with their salary and all of that language.
So. Yeah, I guess I go back to that question on the March 15th notice, if it's not necessarily a contract, what's the value?
Because,
Yeah.
because we have to notify teachers by that date, as you know, if they're coming back or not. And with teachers, with certified staff, it's an automatic renew anyway. And so,
It's an automatic renew if we don't notify them that they're not being renewed.
exactly,
But
yes,
the whole timeline is an opportunity for them to tell the district, yes, they would like to come back.
right, right. And because the agreement with Marlene and what Marlene had expressed to me when she came to work last year, she said, I will work the half-time. I can make that work with my other, employment at home. I can make that work until you find someone. So we had talked about that. And that was fine. Whenever we found someone, then that was when she would exit. And so it just didn't happen to be until a month later that we found someone for the position after the March 15th deadline. I think it was April 15th, almost exactly to the day that we found the full-time person and replaced that position. So,
But there was opportunity to communicate that process was happening to me. There was an opportunity to tell me 2 weeks before that they had hired somebody, even if it hadn't been approved by you. There was a defined period of time there that things could have been communicated more clearly and carefully. So I knew earlier and perhaps could have looked elsewhere.
So it appears our potential biggest hangup is the lack of communication, official communication. From what I can gather. I guess we're
in the deliberation.
we'll go to the deliberation section now, before I get ahead on myself.
Can Ms. Jensen, we want her sitting up front and center still, or?
Oh, yeah, she does.
Or she's-
It's your choice. You can sit either way.
Dwight's kicking me out.
Oh, you can sit right up here in the front.
Thank you.
Before when we go into deliberation, we're still able to ask questions of,
Yeah, we can. Go ahead if there's more questions.
well, just essentially at the end, we have to make a decision of what we're gonna do on this, yes or no.
Right.
I guess if the board were to say that we weren't going to support your decision, Gail, having hired a full-time ag teacher, what would Ms. Jansen's role look like at that point?
Not a decision.
that's a decision that you can't make tonight.
It's not when we made,
Nope.
all right, fair enough.
The only decision you can make tonight is if you,
Break it from the record.
yeah, that's your only question tonight is, do you uphold the recommendation to dismiss or not?
Yeah, so the interesting thing is usually this is a performance deal, but what I've gathered, I don't have a kid in this, but what I've gathered is, yeah, performance has been great. That's not at all why we're here. It's the way I boil it down is we as a board asked for 2 full-time teachers last year. We didn't get it, but Mrs. Jensen graciously stepped in and kept things rolling. And we as a board, again, with the ag advisory's recommendation, said try to get 2 full-time teachers, and that's what the superintendent did. And so, yeah, it's I can understand the frustration in the 2 weeks communication lapse there. I can understand that. But as a board member, I'm not sure I can say we need to hire 2.5 ag teachers. I think that's outside of our scope right now.
Here's my take on that is, we have somebody that's coming in brand new, that's gonna need help. Somebody that's been around the block quite a few times and knows a lot and willing to help. I think it'd be a good idea to have maybe 2.5 in place for a year or whatever, and get things on the right track right off the bat. I think it'd be money well spent, in my opinion.
No, it's definitely another option, but
Yeah, as a with the experience that Ms. Jansen has, that very well could help our program immensely to have that. Obviously, we're not defining roles tonight, but I'm gonna hopefully not get in trouble, but as a kind of a mentorship format or whatever it is, it wouldn't be necessarily that, because it's not decided tonight, but definitely could see the value in that. If
we're
that would be
the,
something that's,
we're the ones that are 2 months late making a decision on 2.5.
there's that too, because
It
we,
would have been way simpler discussion 2.5 months ago,
right.
or 3 months, whatever it was. Yeah,
I think the issue is we're not supposed to be debating whether or not we should have 2.5 ag teachers or the experience of our hired person or Ms. Jansen. It's whether or not we made some sort of legal misstep in the process. And for me, unfortunately, I am not a lawyer. And I would probably need to spend quite a bit more time with both cases presented to try to make a decision that I felt was accurate, or consult a lawyer to do so. And I don't,
But we all know the only way to get anything accomplished is to have it written down, signed, everything. And so, in my opinion, that wasn't done, so. For
Yeah.
any process of the whole school system, everything's gotta be pen and paper and signature, and doesn't look like that was done correctly.
it was done just later than.
Correctly.
later.
That's just an ongoing problem with the whole system.
the other issue presented was a lack of an evaluation. Do we have evaluations on file from Ms. Jansen? And if we can't see them, but
I've been in her room multiple times. I did not do a formal evaluation on her this year because I basically considered her a long-term sub. Because we could have hired at any point. Hindsight, probably should have done formal evaluations on her, but I was not concerned. She's been a sub in our building for years. Seen her, been in her, like I said, been in her classroom. She does a great job. Performance was never an issue. Like I said, I considered her essentially a long-term sub.
But what was she hired as?
Temporary.
Temporary. So I mean, and that could have been at any point.
So,
Again, I considered her as a long-term sub. Filling the
but what
spot.
was she hired as?
A temporary,
Right.
which could have been a week or 9 months.
Which means she still has one annual review, right?
4 informals and 2 formal observations would be the protocol.
And there's nothing on file.
I mean, I've got stuff written down. I mean, just, that's my informal observations and stuff.
But no formal ones.
No.
There should have been 2.
Should have been 2.
Contract on the second to last page states station reteacher. Temporary for long-term sub, right?
Right. That's what I was getting at, was on paper. Since that's how we have to be, so.
So that's 100% on me.
On the probationary contract, was there any spot that said it was? I understand that we can remove probationary teachers the way it is, but is there a spot on the contract saying that it's potentially?
At the end of it, it says that her employment ends and it gives the end of the year, and then it says there is no expectation of continued employment. What it should say.
I guess to me, the most frustrating thing about all this is by lack of following process and just exhibiting strong communication throughout the process. We found ourselves in this position where we've got a teacher who, by, you know, your guys' own statements, has done a really good job, and has been involved in the community and the school for years. And despite that good service, we have put her in a position that she felt that she needed to come to us and do this, which is just disheartening and disappointing.
And I guess to add on to that, it's just basically due to a lack of timely following the process to the letter, it seems. But
The problem is, at the end of the day, Ms. Bierman followed our directive to get a few full-time teachers. And I've always understood these probationary teacher spots to be fairly fragile. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, I mean, we can push the blame that way, but if we wanted 2.5 teachers, we should have spoke up 6 months ago. Kind of reality. I never thought of it. I never thought of it.
I mean, it would have been a good idea to talk about when we hired the second teacher, realizing that they had no experience, to save our tenured person for at least a year for a
Yeah,
mentorship
half a
type.
year.
Yeah,
Acceptable.
something to get the person on their feet and started.
Still can. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And we can terminate today and hire tomorrow, right? I mean, we've terminated teachers before and ESD hired it for us. I mean, the termination sounds really bad, but it's just stopping this contract.
if the person's willing.
It doesn't have to be bad, but yeah. I mean, that's it. Hiring another half-time ag teachers, that's a discussion a whole nother day. That's not tonight.
That ties into budget and
Yeah.
everything else, definitely.
That gets complicated, but. So the question tonight is whether it was done proper enough for us to stand behind. My understanding of it is. Could have been done better, but it's adequate. And that has no bearing on my opinion of how good a job the teacher did.
Yeah, the actual contract piece of it. Yeah, the intent does say at the top, notice to probationary teachers and it's intent to rehire, however, also in the probationary contract, there's a wording that is basically at any time for any reason, probationary teachers can be dismissed, so we made a mess of the timing of it. And you're right, probably if we we're gonna hire another one, that'd be a different conversation. We shouldn't utilize this to try to keep a teacher.
Yeah.
It's not budget, not budgeted for, we're already over budget.
I mean, yeah. We change the budget all the time.
Yeah, that's, well, our budget gets changed all the time. What did it say? So what do we need to,
Well, if we've deliberated to where we feel we're gonna have a decision that we can live with, we're going to move on to board action if that's you guys.
There's four of us, so we kind of have three guys agree, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Well, I'll tip my hand there right now. I'll support the decision to terminate, even though I don't like the word terminate.
Dismiss.
Dismiss, there you go. But simply from the grounds of that's what we asked the superintendent to do a year ago, was this. And well,
I don't feel good about either decision. That's I think we could have done a better job. Legally, we're probably okay.
I think there's a right and a wrong way, and I think our administration's done quite a few things wrong. And I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, the way I see it though is making the budget upside down doesn't make it right either.
No, I'm not saying it does, I'm saying.
Yeah.
There was right and wrong, and there was lots of wrong.
I mean, if we can go back and look at the budget and make this work in the fall, then that's one thing. I don't see how we can do that right now.
Yeah. The process seemed to be pretty flawed in the situation here as far as the written side of it and getting it done to the letter. But like you said, Dwight, it appears as though we're in the clear, or maybe it was you, Preston, that we're in
We
the
did
clear.
enough to avoid getting sued.
Yeah,
We
and
avoid,
we'll clear that process.
maybe.
Maybe, yeah, it's hard to tell.
And they're still right.
As we said, we're not lawyers, so.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think at this point I can support the decision, but I don't like how it was done. Is what it comes down to. So,
Somehow we gotta be held accountable for our actions too, though. Everyone.
so are we, at that point to bring it to a vote, or we still need to hash that a little bit more?
If it was voted, I mean, if we said, no, we don't uphold. Still a probationary teacher, we just, I mean. She could be dismissed tomorrow. For.
Same reason.
Same reason, basically.
But that's even,
I don't like how it was done. I don't like the fact that she was never evaluated. I don't like the fact that we've taken a tenured teacher, not at North Lake, but at throughout her career and put ourselves in this position. But I also, from a budget standpoint, can't justify without at least further discussion, 2.5 teachers, so.
yeah,
Am I still allowed to speak during deliberation?
Um. I don't think necessarily, no.
Okay.
Thank you, Phil. So are we at a point we want to make a motion?
I shouldn't make a motion for deliberating, right?
Actually, according to the outline we have, no,
Oh, really?
yeah, we can have more deliberation with the motion.
Okay. Yeah, it's not,
What's that?
and said it's not. Not a good choice either way,
No,
but I think proper things follow our procedure and the direction we thought we were going, asked to be going 6 months ago.
Or we don't uphold and we say, do it properly.
And it was done properly, just late-ish, right?
Ish. It was
I
done.
mean, so a letter tomorrow is not gonna be any better than a letter a week ago, in my mind.
It was done properly after, it was called out. Brought to, after it got to this point.
Yeah, but I don't see tomorrow being any better than a week ago. The frustration was back in March or early April. You can't fix that now.
No, but we can, we don't think something was done correctly. We can not uphold it and say, do it correctly. Or do better.
I'd rather uphold it and say that at the same time. Move on, so people can
Yeah.
get their lives going. That's my opinion.
yeah, and not being a lawyer, but I don't know, is that with prejudice or something?
All right.
Well, I'll make a motion to, you know what the motion needs to be, to uphold the dismissal of Ms. Jansen. That's sufficient?
You need a
As-
date. You need a date.
Yes, as of today,
Oh, as
June
of,
9th.
as of June 9th, 2025.
Good,
Yeah, I gotta let her finish up.
that was gonna be my question.
That's not it's in the letter and that's not allowed. If she asks for dismissal, it's effective as of this date. That's for the attorney.
So it has to be today, like if you go through this process. So,
That's what they told me, yes.
that's for me.
Wait a second, because all we're doing is upholding your recommendation to dismiss at the end of the school year. So why would it have to be?
Right,
That's what they told me. That's the way it works if you get a dismissal. As far as I'm concerned, if you want, we've got a couple of days of school left. If you want to finish the year, I don't have a problem with that. That's just what the attorney said. That's how it works when you have dismissal. But I'm not going to fuss about that either. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's not correct either, but we're right at the end of the school year and I wouldn't have a problem at all if she stayed and finished off the last couple of days of school for us.
What would that be then, the 12th?
Yes. Yeah,
13th,
with kids, yes. 13th is the last day for teachers.
so it'd be the 13th. Can I amend that to the 13th? Thank you.
I'm fine with that.
is there a second? I'm gonna second it so we can go into discussion. I agree, Dwight, with the fact of just, let's get it done with so people can move on. But the other side of that is if we're, we can amend the date, but if the lawyer says it's as of today because it's a dismissal, I don't like that part of it at all. I don't like.
If that's the case, I'll absolutely vote.
Right, and at that point, that's where it's like, how does it become, like Preston said, if we don't uphold it, we get the school year finished out. And at that point, it's the dismissal takes place, basically.
Yeah, if the lawyer recommended to do it that way for some reason, then probably should go against whatever advice they're giving us, so they probably a reason that they say to do it that way. I don't think it would be, but
Right. So that just, I guess, raises another question on the whole thing for me.
Sure, nothing's simple with this.
Right. And of course, it's already way past down the road to say, do a better, do it to the letter of how it's supposed to be done. Or that ship's already sailed. So even if we say it's the end of the school year, and that occurs, we're still in kind of the same boat, right? But it's.
Yeah, the thing I struggle with is superintendent did what we asked her to do. And we should have got ahead of this 6 months ago. Because we knew we had a great teacher. We should have figured out how to keep that. If she was even willing to teach another year.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a possibility. But I appreciate the year she did, for sure.
But that's not our job either. Our job's to hire the superintendent.
Yeah, we make recommendations on how many teachers we want that. We were pretty clear on that we wanted to ag teachers. We don't want to cut back to one. We weren't very happy that we only had 1.5 last year.
Yeah.
If I remember right. That didn't fly too well with some guys, so.
Yeah. So I guess the big question is are we able to make it at the end of the year, or is it today?
If you don't approve it, it's gonna be before the end of the year before they can figure it out, get it right.
I don't see how you're gonna get it more right. The damage was done 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna go back in time. And personally, Gail's comfortable with going to the end of the year and Marlene is, and yeah, let's do it. What do you think should work? Leave the lawyers out of it.
Right.
Get business done.
So if we ask a question, do you think we can get an answer in our deliberation? Or is that not allowed?
If we want to ask it.
Gail was able to provide some input, so it's only be fair that Marlene be able to provide some.
Marlene, would that be some?
Sorry.
That's okay. I was just gonna ask you if, it sounds as though if a dismissal occurs, it happens today, and you're not finishing out the school year. If we were to put it towards a dismissal at the end of the year, would that be something you'd be willing to finish out the year? I understand it's only a week, but
Well, tomorrow's my last day with kids and I'm not gonna let kids down.
okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're a hold. You're no. You and I are the ones that are on the fence.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts, Preston?
We were, get your points that, we're supposed to have 2 teachers. That's what we did. Technically, we probably have everything we need to have done it legally. I hope it was done well. I hate the fact there's never a review done, even though she was hired as a probationary teacher. That seems fairly derelict. I have a hard time supporting our administration on this one. Which is probably what's giving me pause about voting to voting yes. Just feel like I feel like we dropped the ball on multiple fronts. I realize that still means that she'll probably be dismissed at the end of the school year. But I also think it sends a message to our staff that they have rights and we support them.
I can see that. We gotta. Admin has to be able to have some. When we tell them to do something. They gotta be able to follow through.
We gotta follow through with their job too. And they didn't.
Yeah,
Same thing.
no, I understand that. I just, we were here in this situation and we're like, we only wanted 2 teachers and you still got 2.5 hired. What's going on? We'd be upset about that. So. I mean, it's, yeah, it's. For me dealing with. But at the end of the day, you gotta. I don't know. I thought this was a plan all along. That's right. But a little bit confused.
Well, from what I understood, it was as well. But I think it's a failure of communication. Is what it breaks down to.
Failure of communication and exposes the failure of the administration.
We deliberated enough that we need to move on. Other agenda items.
I do need to move on. So at this point, it's been moved and seconded that to uphold or accept superintendent's recommendation to dismiss Marlene Jansen, a probationary teacher, effective
June 13th, I believe.
13th. We'll now proceed to vote. Let's see. All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and all those opposed say no.
No.
No. Let the record reflect the vote as follows. Preston was no. Mark was no. Scott was no. And Dwight was yes. There being no further business before the board, this hearing is now adjourned.
So the question is not,
The motion does not carry.
but she's hired for next year.
Yes. There being no further business before the board, this hearing is now adjourned. The time, 7:11 PM. Thank you all for. Okay. We'll move along with the regular meeting into the superintendent's booth.
Switch.
Ask that things get a little simpler from here on
So,
out.
no enrollment registration report. Think you finished those off last month, Janet?
Yeah, the end of the year was last month because June really is not reflective. Everybody withdraws early for summer.
Right. Anything else on you want to explain the financial report, Monica?
You guys will see it went from -65 to 97. We got the May adjustment. For this year, they adjusted it by $90,000, and for last year, they adjusted it by $54,000. We got $15,000 from the small high school grant, and we got $4,000 more in federal forest for a total of $15,000.
You're doing great, Monica. I love it when you bring good news.
So the expense side hasn't really changed over here, but that's fine. That's fine.
What did we start the year projected with? -260.
Okay, is that it, Monica? Okay, so facilities, nothing new from Barry. He was in talking to us about that today. Nothing new to report for him. You have a report from Jewel for transportation. There was nothing noteworthy there for him either, other than the text he typed in on the side. Gives you all the information on any of the vehicles that you might need to know. Had some work done on the expedition. That was the biggest thing, I think. Transmission flew on. And Mr. Missile.
Okay, I'll make it short and quick to the point. Track was it was good this year. Boys finished 12th. No, let me see, they finished, 12th, and the girls finished 7th. We have a state champion in girls high jump, Hannah Roth, and then we had other kids place in different events. It was a good meet. Great meet to see for my last timer here. So did that. And then the other thing I want to do is I'll just tell you guys, thank you for letting me work here. And don't make me cry, but it's been great. And I've been through a couple of interviews and they ask me, why do you like, I want to see the whole process, K-12 athletically and academically. This is the first time I got to do this and I like it. I like to see where the kids are moving on to that. And then a couple other things too is if I was here next year, and you guys know this too, we just gotta keep improving and having kids participate in athletics and FFA and all that. And I'm not, I won't throw that out, transportation, but, they need to do that. And there's some teams that we need help with boys basketball, one. And because we're gonna not have enough kids maybe, so hopefully I will, when I call, I will find out you guys are doing fine and doing things great. If I'm in a Washington or Oregon school, we'll come and play you. I told the boys for football, you guys might have to play 11-man football. So there's some interesting places I've applied for. But I want to say thank you. I want to thank I'll send out a note too, but thank everybody. I mean, every time I go somewhere, I feel good. Like my daughter and my granddaughter says, Papa, when are you gonna retire? I don't know. Like I got nice notes from the seniors this year. Every year I get nice notes. And then 30 years from now, they'll say, hey, Missler, you remember when you did this to me? Yeah. Well, here's what I'm doing. And they're happy with their lives. So I just want to say thank you for everything. Okay. Okay. That's what I want to say.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Great.
Also, we didn't make you cry. We didn't say anything.
I know everything. Senior graduation, parents, don't cry, Missile, because then we'll cry.
And Jim, if I can add to that, the girls won the district
The trophy, yeah,
at the district track.
track, oh yeah, I haven't been here since then, yeah, district track,
Yeah.
they won that.
And the neat thing to me on that is it's not just the girls that are winning the events, the points that make it happen, but it's those girls that maybe not quite as talented, but boy, they're putting the effort in. They're getting 6
Get it
points,
done.
they're geting 3 points and all of a sudden the team
Yeah.
wins.
They get it done.
It's a neat part of track. So, yeah.
Yep.
Cameron.
So it's been a busy month. May 14th and the 20th, Miss Hand and the Drama Kids performed. It happened on Route 66. The 20th was for staff and students. May 19th, Mrs. Dark held a transition evening, providing a lot of resources, information for those in attendance. She had several different organizations here to help special education students make the transition from either high school to college or high school to the workforce. And the more they can get tied into those groups now, the easier that transition is. They provide help while they're at school and internships and all sorts of stuff. It's a pretty neat deal. May 20th, the fifth grade took a field trip to the High Desert Museum. Behavior was good on that and they all enjoyed it. May 21st, FFA track and driving, and we had the spring blood drive. Didn't get quite as many donations on the blood drive as we'd hoped. 27th, the senior girls attended the Seroptimus luncheon. That was always a good thing for them. On the 29th, something new is the first year we attended the Senior Sensation Parade in Klamath Falls for the first time. Several students won gift cards. Emily Dyfoon received a $500 scholarship down there. The kids really enjoyed it. And if you're at graduation, you saw lots of pictures with them in their caps and gowns. So that was from that. They really enjoyed it. So that's something we'll try to keep going as we go on. The 30th, we had the Senior Scholarships Awards bruncheon. That went well as always. June 4th, Ms. Jansen put on the Ag Day for the elementary kids. That was a great day, both for our middle school kids that were presenting, mostly sixth grade, but some of the other kids helped as well. And then also for the kids, it was a little warm, but otherwise it was a good day. 7th, we had graduation, well attended. I think everything went well that day. Today, we had the kindergarten graduation and the kinder roundup. So bringing in our next year's kindergartners. And then we also had the sixth grade promotion. So lots of things. And then lastly, June 28th, we will get our daily recipients. We will know who gets those. So we'll report those out once we get that in.
Thank you. Okay, just a really short legislative update. As far as the state money budget news is concerned, nothing much more to add other than the 11.36 billion is a pretty solid figure at this point in time. At one point, they thought it might go lower than that. I don't think it's going to. It's right there, but I don't think it's gonna get any bigger either. And that's what we based our budget on, as you know, so we're feeling pretty solid about that. On the federal level, some news is starting to roll out. Perkins and CTE money is right now flat funded, which means it's the same thing with Title I. Few of the title programs are out as far as they haven't got through all of them. There are a lot of them, and we don't do all of them, just a handful. Title I is our biggest one, so flat funded, I'm okay with that as long as they didn't cut it. Waiting for news on the other title programs. Overall, it's looking at this point in time like a 15% cut overall to the federal budget. And the impact to Oregon, they're still unsure on that. They're trying to figure that all out. What does that mean to us based on where we are with our own budget too, and where they're gonna have to backfill if they need to. They're trying to keep everything, especially the SIA grant fund, up to par. So nobody has to take cuts there, because a lot of people, that's a big one for a lot of people, and there are people in that one. At the federal level, most of the cuts, that 15% that's coming down, is going to involve things like cuts to maybe migrant programs, extended learning, after school, summer school, wraparound service staffing, that sort of thing. So more indirect services, I would say, than direct cuts to our budget. And that's it on that. Still waiting for news. It's a weekly thing. The K-12 discipline plan that we've been talking about, it's kind of rushed with Cameron and me right now in terms of the elementary staff and middle school, high school staff finished it, gave it to us. We're proofing, we're looking it over. We talked about it at PLC's today. And I had some edits to it. I think Cameron did too.
Elementary staff and I went over it at 3:45 after school. I think we're
Oh, good.
pretty
Okay.
solid on what we're at now.
Yeah, so we're working hard on that to try to get it polished off and just finished. No disagreements or anything about it, just making sure that we have it exactly the way we want it. And probably what we'll do is, rather than print it, the whole chart or document in any of the handbooks, which is where we agreed to put it, we're just going to put a link to it in there for now, so that you can see it on the website or on the Aptigee. And then if we want to change it, we're going to, as we move through the year, because we all decided if we want to use it, we don't like it, we want the option of going back and revising it while we're trying it out. So that way it isn't, that'll give us it'll be easier to edit for us. That they're all in agreement on that, and I am too. Works for me. We're making good progress on it, and everybody's happy with it so far. So anyway, and that's all I had for that. Any questions about anything else? Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Was there action on the personnel and human
Oh,
services?
I'm sorry, I skipped it, didn't I? Went right by. Yes, sorry. No action required, just an announcement. Okay, notification. Yep. Thanks for bringing that up. I circled it, went rough. Okay,
All right, where are we? Looks like we're gonna go into executive session under ORS 192.6602I to review and evaluate the performance of the superintendent or any other public officer, employee, or staff member.
so
Do you guys want 5?
Sure.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Can I have my thing? Can I have this?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Janet, can I have my thing?
Yes.
Okay.
If you let me sign the back of it, Jim.
Oh, okay. I'll give you this back, but you guys come sign my card. Well, you guys, you want me to leave it so you can sign it?
Do we have a Sharpie?
Yeah. One.
Oh,
We'll
and
get that signed.
Okay, get that signed.
Oh, yeah, that one right
But I don't know if that's board policy though. Is it?
we're in recess.
Okay.
5 minutes, yes.
It's my job.
You might have, yeah, I mean, you might have to, you know.
You know what they have? Is it, I was their board member, I was there. What are you guys thinking? This transfer rule.
All the
So you could go to